There's no respite yet for our economy as challenges continue to stake high against prosperity. The President and Chairman of the Governing Council of the Institute of Directors, Ije Jidenma, has warned that the rising lingering forex liquidity, low level of vaccination rates, and lack of will to execute reforms by the fiscal authorities will continue to pose as risk to Nigeria's short-term growth prospects. Jidenma said recovery of 2022 will be impacted by effective management of the pandemic, direction of the global oil markets, and quality of government policies and programs. Wow, Babajide.
Yes, the economy is in dire straits, no doubt about it. But the point that these guys are making is we need better management of our forex situation. Our currency is too weak against global currencies. Even the countries around us, our currency is too weak against their currencies. And that's why you go to some northern states, if you see the level of smuggling of Nigerian food crops, some vehicles, they will stack them up almost as high as a story building. They are going to Niger. We are not reaping enough because of insecurity and all that, but even what we are reaping, they are taken to those countries because they know they will earn more because the currency is strong. So like maize now that poultry farmers need desperately, they produce maize, they are going to Niger Republic to sell the produce. So they want the forex situation better managed. A lot of the companies here are struggling to access forex. Some of them now have to go to the black market. You can imagine pharmaceutical firms and other manufacturing concerns going to shop for forex at the black market rate. Won't that ultimately kill business? Of course, it will kill business in the final analysis because the black market rate is extremely high. And to source it at the official market is extremely difficult. So they are forced to go to the black market. That's a big problem. Then the issue of insecurity. If we want to reflate this economy, we've got to do something about agric production. When we slipped into recession the first time, agric and the aviation sectors were the two sectors that were not in negative. So we need to do something because even this agric produce, many companies need them to produce as raw materials. But if they can't access them, it then means that things will become far more expensive than they are currently. So that's why they are saying, look, deal with the problem of insecurity so that we'll have greater production and it will impact positively on the economy overall. What we have now, I really do not see how things can improve except we address the insecurity and the problem of access to forex that is driving companies crazy in our country.
Some are even worried about our debt, the debt burden we have, how it will impact.
Yes, we've been borrowing to fund the budget since about 2 years ago. That the COVID situation has not helped that, and they are bound to spend on subsidy too. This year we are going to be spending 3 trillion naira on subsidy.
Money that can be channeled
for
China
petroleum
too.
products, and that's about 200.
trillion.
That's about 250 billion per month. Now, while the
Wow.
IoD president is saying this, is because 5 years ago, South Africa was number 1 in Africa in terms of GDP. But today, South Africa has been overtaken by Egypt as in number 2 position, while Nigeria still remained number 1. Because when most countries went into recession at the during the first phase of the first wave of the COVID, South Africa, it took time to recover. So it got hit. Now South Africa is number 3 in Africa. And why the IoD president is a bit apprehensive is the fact that we have projected a 4.25 GDP growth rate for this year. But the statistics are not just there to back this expected GDP growth rate, because last year we had 2.5% growth rate. So that's why she's saying that a lot needs to be done in terms of helping the real sector of the economy, which are the manufacturers and the agri sector. We cannot continue to rely on oil, because now I'm disturbed that at a point when our benchmark rate for the budget is about $58 per barrel, and oil is inching close to $90 a barrel now, we can't see a significant growth in our external reserves, or the so-called excess crude accounts, which used to be in place during the Okonjo-Iweala years. So I don't know how they are managing this economy, and if we continue like this, diesel today is 365 naira per liter, and most of these companies depend on diesel to fire their turbines, their engines. So that's why the IoD, which comprises of directors of most manufacturing companies and banks, they are concerned that we cannot allow the economy on a free fall, because if we continue to pile we have a domestic debt of 44 trillion naira now.
44 trillion.
44 trillion domestic debt. So these indices are not good for an economy like us. Fine, we still manage to remain number 1 in Africa in terms of the GDP at $514 billion. But Egypt, as number 2 now, they are knocking on our door. And they projected 4.5 GDP rates, except probably when the blue rail and the red lines of Lagos State comes on board, hopefully by the end of the year, maybe that will deflate the economy. I mean, if you bear in mind that Lagos economy is about 155 billion.
Look at this visual. I'm just imagining the disparity between these two currencies.
It's only in Nigeria.
It's not lighter and day.
It's only in Nigeria. It's only in Nigeria that you have a parallel market and an official market,
Yes.
with about 150 naira difference.
Yes.
So
It encourages speculators
and black market.
And we refuse to close one of those windows.
One of those windows.
I don't understand.
Like making
If you
money.
don't
If you
want
go
to
to other
close the
countries, you
window,
won't see it like
let's
this.
bridge the gap. If you don't want to close the window,
Honestly.
make at least make the difference closer. As long as even banks that we are giving them
Honestly,
money
they are
now
holding
to
it.
sell to, as long as that gap is that wide,
You
they
get-
are going to give it to malams, to
Yes,
their friends.
to sell.
They are going to sell,
You get
so that you
official-
make your money.
All through December, I was looking for
You
BTA.
get official
I couldn't
rate
get BTA,
412
any
between
bank.
412 and 415 to $1. When if you go out there to the parallel market, the
Yes.
black market, 570.
Oh.
How?
It's just
You
it's
keep encouraging
unbelievable.
this,
Now we
guys.
have been told that since this subsidy thing will continue, then we should be ready for more loans. That we'll be taking more loans. If I look at the way our senior brother explained it, that it has implications. That's Femi Adesina, that there are implications for allowing the subsidy regime to remain. that now there are more loans will be
As
on
if
the
you are
way.
threatening.
Justifying the loan.
So you see, how do we continue? Most countries in the post-COVID era cut their coat according to
their
their law.
size.
Cut it
We
down.
continue to expand the size of the budget. Yet, the more you expand it, the more you take loans to fund it. So what is that? Because our revenue profile cannot sustain that budget. We can't finance that budget with our revenue profile. I like what the National Assembly is trying to do now, inviting all those 62 revenue generating agencies to come and explain why they are not generating more. But we still have to do our best to improve revenue. Otherwise, we will continue to take loans.
Okay.